Hello, everyone, and welcome to this urgent update on one of the most explosive global crises unfolding right now. I sincerely cannot even believe this shit. Today, we dive deep into the escalating conflict between the United States and Iran, where former and current President Donald Trump has issued chilling warnings of certain death to Iranian forces. Nuclear anxieties are hitting fever pitch, and reports confirm the destruction of a key U.S. radar system. This isn't just another headline, it's a rapidly developing situation that could reshape the Middle East and beyond. Let's break it all down step by step, so you understand exactly what's happening, why it's critical, and what might come next. First, let's set the stage with the background. The United States and Iran have had a rocky relationship for decades, rooted in issues like Iran's support for certain militant groups, its ballistic missile program, and most crucially, its nuclear ambitions. Back in 2018, during his first term, Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal, known formally as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which had limited Iran's uranium enrichment in exchange for sanctions relief. That move ramped up tensions, leading to sanctions, proxy conflicts, and tit-for-tat strikes. Fast forward to 2026, and Trump is back in the White House after winning the 2024 election. His administration has taken an even harder line, accusing Iran of rebuilding its nuclear program and posing imminent threats to U.S. allies, especially Israel. The spark that ignited this latest firestorm came in late February 2026. On February 28, Trump announced the start of major U.S. combat operations against Iran, dubbed Operation Epic Fury by the Pentagon. In a video address released overnight, Trump directly appealed to Iranian security forces, urging them to lay down their weapons. He warned that failure to do so would result in certain death. This phrase wasn't just rhetoric. It signaled a massive military campaign aimed at dismantling Iran's missile capabilities, naval forces, and what Trump called its terrorist proxies. The objective, as stated by Trump, is to eliminate threats from Iran's regime to protect American people, troops, and allies. He accused Tehran of developing long-range missiles that could reach U.S. troops in Europe or even the American homeland, and of ongoing attacks against U.S. interests. To make this clear, certain death here means the U.S. military is prepared to use overwhelming force, including airstrikes, missiles, and potentially ground operations, to neutralize any resistance. Trump emphasized that Iranian forces would be treated fairly if they surrendered, but otherwise, they faced total annihilation. This bold declaration came amid reports of U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iranian targets, including explosions in Tehran and other cities. Satellite imagery and eyewitness accounts show plumes of smoke rising from military sites, with civilian areas reportedly affected as well, though the U.S. denies targeting non-military locations. Now, let's talk about the nuclear fears that are skyrocketing worldwide. Iran's nuclear program has been a flashpoint for years. Under international scrutiny, Iran has enriched uranium to levels that could theoretically be used for weapons, though Tehran insists it's for peaceful energy purposes. Trump's strikes have specifically targeted facilities linked to this program, such as enrichment sites in Isfahan and other complexes. In one speech, Trump claimed that previous U.S. actions had obliterated Iran's nuclear capacity, but he's now threatening further attacks to ensure it's completely dismantled. This contradiction highlights the chaos. Just months ago, in June 2025, Trump boasted of decimating Iran's nuclear potential, yet in March 2026, he's warning that Iran could have a bomb. Within days, if not stopped, why the panic? Bombing nuclear sites risks releasing radioactive materials, contaminating air, water, and soil, which could lead to a humanitarian disaster. Experts from organizations like the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists warn that such strikes are counterproductive and reckless, potentially pushing Iran to accelerate its program or seek alliances with nuclear powers like Russia. Global markets are reacting too. Oil prices have surged due to fears of disrupted supplies from the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route Iran could block. Public anxiety is high, with protests in major cities calling for de-escalation, and the United Nations urging restraint to avoid a broader war that could involve nuclear weapons. Adding to the drama is the destruction of a U.S. radar system, a significant blow to American operations in the region. Reports indicate that Iran launched a missile strike that took out the N/FPS-132 radar at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, one of the largest and most advanced early warning systems in the Middle East. This radar detects incoming missiles and aircraft from hundreds of miles away, providing crucial data for U.S. defenses. Its loss means the U.S. has reduced visibility over Iranian activities, making it harder to track launches or coordinate strikes. Iranian officials have celebrated this as a precision hit, vowing more retaliation if attacks continue. Trump responded by promising to rain missiles and death and destruction on Iran, with aides like Caroline Leavitt echoing that the U.S. will achieve air dominance and hit crucial targets. To explain the implications simply, without this radar, U.S. forces are more vulnerable to surprise attacks, which could lead to higher casualties and force a shift in strategy. It's like playing chess with one eye closed, the opponent gains an edge. This incident underscores how the conflict is two-sided. Iran isn't just defending but striking back effectively, using drones and missiles to target U.S. assets across the Gulf. As the war enters its second week, the situation remains fluid and dangerous. Trump has posted on Truth Social that Iran will be hit very hard today, considering complete destruction of new areas due to what he calls Iran's bad behavior. He's demanded unconditional surrender, rejecting Iran's apologies for regional attacks and criticizing Tehran's leadership for not controlling its forces. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has apologized for strikes on neighboring countries, but refused to capitulate, insisting Trump's dreams of surrender will go to their grave. Meanwhile, Israel continues its own operations, with arms sales approved by the U.S. And Russia warns of escalating tensions amid U.S. military buildups. International reactions are mixed. Allies like Israel support the strikes, viewing them as necessary to curb Iran's influence. But critics, including some U.S. lawmakers and experts, argue this is an unauthorized war of choice, violating the Constitution without congressional approval. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists calls it dangerous and pointless, noting Iran doesn't pose an imminent nuclear threat. Protests worldwide demand peace, and energy markets are in turmoil, with potential for global recession if the conflict drags on. What could happen next? Trump says the operation might last 4 to 5 weeks or longer to remove missile and nuclear threats fully. He's even floated regime change, urging Iranians to overthrow their government for freedom. But history shows regime change efforts, like in Iraq, often lead to instability, power vacuums, and prolonged conflicts. If Iran retaliates by closing the Strait of Hormuz, oil shortages could spike prices, affecting everyday costs like gas and groceries. Worse, escalation could draw in other powers, Russia or China siding with Iran, or NATO getting involved if missiles reach Europe. In bold terms, this is a high-stakes gamble. Trump's fearless approach aims to project strength, but it risks catastrophe. Nuclear fear isn't hype. It's real, with the doomsday clock already ticking closer to midnight. For ordinary people, it means staying informed, supporting diplomacy, and hoping leaders choose talks over bombs. We've covered the threats, the nuclear risks, and the radar loss in detail to make sense of this chaos. Remember, knowledge is power in times like these. Please feel free to follow, subscribe, comment, like, and share. This helps you to stay connected to me, and it helps me to remain here creating more content for you. Thank you, love always, Maria DC Santiago.